All right, welcome to the day 5 recap of the Chinese qualifier to World Championship. We have the final day of Group A today, and we have Lofstorm with 3-0 lead over the entire group, uh, looking to secure his first place. Yan Ming, the defending world champion, in a lot of trouble, having lost to Proyun, I think, last time, being down on the head-to-head to actually both the players that are at the bottom of the table. Really looking for a win today and some good results to happen. And yeah, we begin with the Tianming versus Trispear match. This match is going to be about who secures the spot in top four and who is going to have to fight for a top eight in a later match today. And this is a Quest Mage versus Discover Hunter. Quite a this is quite an interesting game. This is the one that I picked out from the earlier part of the tournament, or earlier part of the games played today. Early game, not really much happening. The Hunter does have the Nayel, very important card for the deck. But I think, as far as I remember, he is going to decide to go for an Elise line instead of Nayel, which I find kind of questionable. I think there's so much more powerful things the Hunter gets to do when it just goes off on the discovering spree, maybe finds a Grifta for a discount or damage, maybe finds encounters, plays encounters a bunch. So I feel like I would have coined Nael here. The Tri-Spear just doesn't really do much other than progressing his quest, play some minions, which is good to have the minion presence at this stage, able to fight for board a little bit, to not die immediately to the Hunter. The Elise comes down for a 5. We are looking for probably something like copy, attack, Raptors attack. We're definitely looking for attack as Hunter here. Tri-Spirit does find a Volume Up, which is a very high quality card from that Alter Time, and he also finds a Rewind, being able to progress his quest even more. And then finds another Alter Time, which I think has to be the pickup to complete the quest next turn. And the Hunter kind of locked himself into the line of coining out the location, even though that is copy and Raptors. But with the Pirate Sanctuary, we can play the Glacial Shard, which is a battle cry, copy it, and get on board really quickly and put a lot of power. This is what, 11 power on the board? Puts Mage in a lot of trouble right now. And yeah, Mage is going to just take lots of damage here from that location. But fortunately, that location does not represent plus attack, so it does not add damage to an already existing board, with Hunter not having access to charge minions, really. So the Hunter will have trouble adding more power to this board. He just plays the Nayel here. Does have two sisters to have board clears available to him. But Tri-Spear is going to have stuff going for him. Gets another quest in play to secure the long game. And now he just needs to not die in the short term. Which there is a lot of damage staring at him. There are 3 Griftas in hand currently, which is very scary. This Grifta does not find deal 6, which would have been lethal immediately, but it does find discount, which will make sure that mana is never a problem for Tianming this game. And the mage is only at 14, so that speaks trouble. Finds Blizzard and a Charger from this scrappy Scavenger, though that is incredible pickup. And will be able to basically full clear the board thanks to that. Finds another altar time too. Continues to progress the quest and is going to find a way to finish this turn with a volume up being played too, just after spending some mana, so that the volume up discovers a card able to proc his quest, and he hits double shield battery, so that the shield batteries gain a lot of armor. So the mage actually just gained 24 and is completely safe here, or it seems like it. There are free Griftas in Hunter's hand, which the mage knows about, but I still feel pretty safe from here. And the Hunter maybe could have done a better turn here, but honestly, there's so much to do that you just like want to really take your time to plan this out. The mage doesn't really have much that they can do at this point, as long as they kill the Bob and not clear their board, threaten lethal, then I think their job is done. They can do that in multiple ways. The Tri-Spear decides to do that by using this Chalice and then playing this Stonehill Defender. And now this is the important turn. So I'm gonna stop the... I'm gonna play this in real time so that you guys can understand how little time Tianming actually has to execute this. Yeah. So he gets to copy the Scout to get more damage from Grifta. And he also plays Birdwatching, finds Neri. I think this is like a slightly minor error where he plays the Birdwatching a little too early. You probably wouldn't want these minions clogging your hand space, but because he found a Neri, it's probably not going to matter. Gets even more discounts so that he can play more Griftas for cheaper. And now he's going to need to find a deal 6 from one of these Griftas. There's some stuff going on in the hand, but he does find a deal 6 immediately, making this a lot easier than it needs to be. The rope already starts burning, by the way. This has not been a lot of, like, he hasn't done, like, he wasn't able to do that much, but this Grifta with the Sylvanas is going to be enough to secure the win. There was actually a lethal, I think, without the Neri too, if you just play the Pupil and take a deal 6s from the Pupil, which maybe was a more safe line, but this will do. And that is game with the exact lethal on a very difficult turn to execute for the Hunter. Well done to Tianming. He would later take the Sirius and have Tri-Spear, I think, fight for survival in the final game of, or in his final game of the round robin. Alright, and going off to the next game, we have, this is an elimination game, game 5 of this elimination game. Whoever loses this will not make it to the top 8. We have X2CI versus Proyun, game 5, Warrior versus Shaman, and Warrior has an excellent hand, but so does the Shaman. The Shaman has a lot of mana spending, the Warrior has Elise. We have to see how that goes. I think as Warrior you keep the quest Shield Block and Shield Slam. You might actually, okay, I agree with tossing the Shield Block. You're really looking for New Heights. If you can find coin New Heights into Elise into a 5 mana location, that is a lot stronger here. Yeah. Next to CI, not really that many decisions to be made here. Just play the 1-drop, play the 2-drop, push a lot of chip damage. Proyun does get rewarded for that mulligan. Finds the New Heights. He has coin New Heights into Elise. As long as he finds Raptors, I think the game should be pretty well under control. There's double Brawl in hand to be able to clear boards, although you usually don't want the Brawls to be in your hand this early. Finds Raptors and Discover. I mean, if I'm the Warrior right now, I'm feeling super good. Exusei finds double Wish of this Hagafa. I'm not exactly sure why Exusei traded that 1/1 away. Yeah, I don't really understand that. The Discover kind of misses. There is an Execute and there is a Suffusion that you both can use, and they're like fine, but they aren't good, and you are at 13 life. You have a gain 10 in hand, which is nice, but I didn't even actually notice how quickly the Shaman was able to push the damage. He does hold the deal 2 for the next turn. And the Shaman continues to put stuff on the board. The Warrior is at 9 health It's actually crazy how quickly the warrior managed to die. But like, you can be totally safe here by just playing the Suffusion off on the 3-2 and shield blocking, right? You can even shield on the Hagafa if you feel really scared. I think you're supposed to start with the deal 2 on the 3-2 rather than this, because you might play that minion. Or is he like not willing to do that? I really want to use the deal 2. Like, we have this spell from okay, I don't understand any of this. Like, why did we I haven't watched this game live much, and I am really confused as to why we didn't kill the 3-2 with the 2 mana spell. What are we holding the 2 mana spell for? Like, especially since there is a likely wish, as we didn't see the Frosty Decor coming down from this from whatever it's called, from Hagafa. Now, we do find a decent enough play, and we took a dwarf planet. Again, I a little bit questioning that choice because we could have taken maybe slow motion to deny the shaman the A dates that look very problematic to our hand. Yeah, which are actually 10-11s, right? I really wish that those didn't come down, and I really wish we had taken slow motion. I I know I'm very critical of the warrior play here, but I think given the warrior hand here, the warrior should just be winning every time this game. And instead, he looks like he's just gonna lose here to the Alak here that is in hand, that is buffed at least once by the wish. And he's unable to remove both of these minions, right? He like the hits just don't go his way, and yeah, and he's just going to explode. It's a very strangely played game by the warrior, and XUCI will move on to, well, not necessarily move on to top 8, but is really close to moving on to the top 8 unless a lot of matches don't go his way later on. Okay, and now Lovestorm, who has secured his first place in the group already earlier today with the amazing 4-0 lead, faces Trispear in another game 5, which will decide if Trispear gets third or maybe faces elimination with the 2-3 score, depending if Yanming will be able to win the last game today. And we have a Cycler Rogue against the Discover Hunter. The Discover Hunter hand looks fantastic with Nayel and two sisters. The only real thing that would let Trispear stick aboard is if the hunter does not draw Sylvanas at any point here. And this play, I am not convinced by this play from Trispear. Like, I really would have preferred to play the Doobie there, just because it spent all mana over playing the weapon. And the Cycler Rogue hand just does not look very appealing whatsoever from here. There is an Incendius, which is a good thing, and the Hunter is doing the slow setup plays rather than playing super fast, like it could do with popping up the encounters on the board. And the Hunter hand does not look very damage focused either. Trispear plays two Web Weavers, which it looks so strange to me. Does pick up the O-Manager, which will allow him to Incendius next turn, but losing both of those O-Managers might speak trouble for having enough card draw to actually finish the game off. One of the Web Weavers doesn't even die, but you have to play the Incendius here, Cycler Rogue, just because if you don't play it right now, then you will never have the occasion to play it, as the board will get too large, and any board that the Hunter makes from now on will not be a threat to the Rogue. Now the Hunter does find Discount there's not that much to use the discount on right now. So, and you can't even hero power without overdrawing here, or you can't hero power and get 2 cards out of it. So he decides to just play tracking and then play the encounters instead, and even commit the double encounters, hoping that the rogue might not have draw. The rogue rips all the eruptions off the top. And then this is going to be a very interesting spot because he draws Shadow Step here. And he could play... he could even play all of the EMGs and the Giants. But the problem is, there is a discount in Lovestorm's hand. You've seen Double Sister. So what you actually want to do, and what Tri-Spear does correctly, is he just Shadow Steps this Incendius, shuffles more damage into his deck, saying, I will clear the board next turn, and I will have lethal next turn with the eruptions. The only minor issue that might occur with this play is what if Tri-Spear does not have enough draw? Lovestorm knows that this asteroid eruption combo will be coming, tries to get as much life gain as possible with getting a location that is hopefully cheap enough to play. Unfortunately, I don't think this location is quite cheap enough to play. Did discount his hand a lot though, with having I think this is a 1 mana location and a 1 mana Shaladra and a 29 cost Ceaseless on turn 7 is quite crazy. The funny Eat the Giant play from Tri-Spear coming down, but he does not appear to have much card draw going on, with only the weapon serving as such. Yeah, he does just push as much damage as he can, but he does not find lethal here, and his hand does not actually have any card draw, and the Ceaseless from Lovestorm is playable right now, as well as this location I think has armor on it. So is Lovestorm maybe back in it? Finds a Mixologist also off the birdwatching, allowing him to maybe even get more armor. Makes a board as well, since there are maybe like 4 eruptions in Tri-Spear's deck and a whole bunch of asteroids that could hit minions at this point. Even finds more armor from the Mixologist and pushes even more damage. Has a pretty large board, and we are not like, this is very unsure to whether Tri-Spear will be able to get lethal. Does find Dubious Purchase though, but completely bricks his hand, and then also Oracle from EMG. Oh my god. There was nothing going on in Tri-Spear's hand. He was gonna die the very next turn to the cheap Amirdrasils that are in Lovestorm's hand, and he finds Ethereal Oracle to continue drawing cards and find lethal. Absolutely incredible. And this way, Tri-Spear advances to guarantee finishing 3rd place in the group behind Tianming and Lovestorm. And the very last decider is going to decide whether it is going to be XUCI or Yanming to advance to the top 8 with the 4th spot. Tianming doesn't really play for much. He's guaranteed 2nd. And this decider would also go to the game 5. And it is a very familiar sight, a Shaman Mirror. Yanming is on the play in the Shaman Mirror, putting him extremely favored in this match. He does have Flight of the Firehawk and the location, which is a very good sight. Also has a big spell to activate his Bellhop. Yeah, just kind of all you want, really. Has the ability to spend mana on 2, the ability to spend mana on 3. Tianming does have the Elise with the location, able to play the Elise location on turn 4. But Yanming has a monster hand here with the Turbulus and the Bellhop, able to play 6/6 Bumbling Bellhops on the next turn. Oh, Tianming also does have the Hagafa, which is higher tempo than the Elise, so he decides to go for that one instead. And I am actually not very sure what the line here is for Yanming. I think it just has to be double location and then play Bellhop and Turbulus. But maybe he decides to Elise. Okay, he decides to Elise instead, which might be even better. Capitalizing on all of these discounts, finding a 5-mana location that will be able to potentially buff his board with attack or summon copies or whatever it really is. I didn't really notice what that was. And now, Tianming did not get to do any of the ridiculously broken things as Yanming did, and might have to go for the Moradin here just to clear out the 5/5, stay alive. This is kind of the punish for not playing the Turbulus last turn for Yanming, but I think his position is still pretty good. Like, even if the Moradin comes down, I think you're pretty happy here. Yeah. The Frosty Decor from Hagafa does come down, and it does threaten Click Wish or Coin Wish, so you actually do have to address this board as Yanming, which his hand does not do a great job at doing, but it does set up his own wish, which is maybe even scarier with more minions on board. Yeah, and he is going to be able to click first, then wish, finds instant multiverse off the location, which can summon a huge board. And this looks pretty good, I would say, for Yanming at this point. There are gonna be some taunts to come down, and some pretty large Murlocs. I think these are, what, 5/6s? Not able to clear anything at this moment. And there is also a Coin Ziliax available to Tianming. But there is another wish available to Yanming. Not much to do with it. Or he actually decides to buff the Bellhops instead, which is interesting. Yeah, and at this point, Yanming, I think, has to go for the pop-up book plus another wish, which it looks good on paper, but his hand is looking relatively empty. He does still have the Elise location, but Tianming is gonna have an Elise location of his own, coming down here shortly, and that will probably able to get him enough value. So Yanming has to kind of make a move relatively soon. Finds another wish off the location, making his minions enormous. You could probably even play the instant multiverse here, right? Just play multiple 2s here. I mean, surely you have to play the instant multiverse if you took it, right? It disagrees. He decides to go for the Bellhop and the Turbulus, which is an 11/14. That might be something that the Elise location might not be able to address, actually. I'm actually unsure what Tianming can do from this point. There is like a weapon plus avatar form play, but these minions are too large, right? They're not going to die to this. You can Ziliax. The Ziliaxes, I think they're quite large. I'm not exactly sure. They're like 10s or something. There's Raptor's attack on this location that might be able to clean up pretty well with avatar form, especially. I'm confused about these traits a little bit, and Tianming not very happy with this play, although it did end up like not being so bad. This is a very large Muradin though, and a very large Grofin too. I'm not exactly sure which one you want. Yeah, this is the funny Shaman game moment where the Grofin is bigger than the other one. And there we have an Ultra Gigasaur on the board, which is just a large pile of stats. This is really hard to deal with for the other Shaman. The Ziliax will come down and will keep Tianming relatively safe. But Yanming being able to play free Wish Up on the Stars throughout this game is paying off slowly. He tries to actually kill the Ultra Gigasaur over time. Not going to work particularly well. There is no Oh no, that is lethal for Yanming actually with the avatar form. And that means that Yanming does take the Shaman Mirror and advances on tiebreakers, on the game score tiebreaker to the top 8. Uh, this was actually something that we, during the live broadcast, thought that this was going to be a head-to-head tiebreaker, in which case XOCI did beat Yanming in their direct match earlier today. But on game score, Yanming had a better score. Game score really hasn't been used in these qualifiers for a while here. And this like kind of sparked the controversy. So let me guys know, would you guys prefer to be judged by game score or by head to head in a situation like this? And who do you wish to have seen in the top 8 between Yanming and X2CI? Anyways, Love Storm takes the first spot in the group with 4-1 score. Then Tianming goes second, Tri-Spear third, I believe. Not exactly sure on that. And Yanming will be fourth. So tomorrow is Group B, and outside of Xiaoti, who has already secured the number 1 spot, we will have to see. Actually, since this is a game score, not the head-to-head tiebreaker, then Sif might actually still take away the number 1 spot from Xiaoti. Anyways, we will see a huge battle for the top 8, whether the Yonosuke or Chosen One can come back to the tournament, or will Ju Qianyu secure his spot as the 4th? Will Small Juan be able to win one series and secure his spot as well? Or maybe even fight for the second or potentially the first spot against Zhao Ti and Sif? We'll have to see that tomorrow. And on Sunday, we're going to have the top 8 matches deciding on who goes to Worlds. Thank you all guys for watching this recap. Yeah, let me know about the tiebreaker thing, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.